The moment still replays in my mind like a scene that refuses to fade because it began as a careless joke and ended up shaking the foundation of my entire life. It was my birthday, the kind of ordinary workday birthday where you pretend not to expect anything, when the air suddenly felt heavier, brighter, and charged with something unnamed. I had no idea that a single sentence, spoken without thought, would open a door I never planned to walk through, or that the smile I received in return would quietly change the direction of my future forever. Before this story goes any further, if you believe in kindness, unexpected grace, and the power of second chances, take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that are still waiting to believe again. My name is Michael Turner, and at the time I was just another overlooked project coordinator at a mid-sized architecture firm in Portland, Oregon. I had been with the company for 6 years, reliable but invisible, the kind of employee who kept things running without ever being noticed for it. My boss, Rachel Whitmore, was everything I was not: confident, composed, respected, and quietly admired by everyone in the office. She carried herself with a strength that never felt loud, and there was a sadness in her eyes that most people missed because they were too busy being intimidated by her success. We shared polite professionalism, nothing more, and I never imagined that our worlds would collide beyond spreadsheets and deadlines. That morning, the office surprised me with a small cake and a paper banner taped crookedly to the break room wall. It was awkward and sweet, and when Rachel stepped in holding a card signed by the team, something in her expression softened. Time slowed, and nerves got the better of me. I made a stupid joke, one of those comments people toss out to escape vulnerability, something about marrying her since she remembered my birthday. I expected laughter, maybe a raised eyebrow. Instead, she smiled in a way I had never seen before, not professionally, not politely, but personally, and she said something that stopped my breath and stayed with me long after the candles were blown out. The rest of the day passed in a blur. My hands shook as I tried to work, my mind replaying that moment again and again. I told myself she was joking back, that powerful women did not mean what they said to men like me. Still, when the workday ended, I found myself standing in my apartment staring at my reflection, wondering when my life had become so small and safe that even the possibility of something extraordinary felt terrifying. I didn't own a ring, not even a cheap one, and the weight of that detail felt symbolic of everything I lacked, courage included. Rachel's home was on the outskirts of the city, a quiet neighborhood lined with trees and soft yellow porch lights. When I arrived, my heart pounded so loudly I was sure it would betray me. Inside, the atmosphere was warm, intentional, nothing like the sterile office environment we shared. She had cooked dinner herself, something simple but thoughtful, and the walls held photos of places she had traveled, moments of joy frozen in time. It struck me then how lonely success can be when there is no one to share it with. As the evening unfolded, the truth surfaced without needing words. Rachel had been married once, long before I joined the company. Her husband had been charming and ambitious, admired by many, but absent in all the ways that mattered. Over time, neglect had turned into emotional distance, and distance had become silence. The divorce had been quiet, professional, and devastating. She buried herself in work not because she loved it more than life, but because it was safer than hoping again. I shared my own story in return, the years spent watching life happen to others, the relationships that never quite worked because I never believed I was enough to be chosen. I had learned to make myself useful instead of seen, dependable instead of desired. Somewhere between the half-empty glasses and the gentle hum of the city outside, something shifted. Two people who had been hiding in plain sight finally recognized each other. The days that followed were not easy. Whispers traveled fast through the office, glances lingered longer than they should have, and judgment hung thick in the air. Rachel faced criticism she never deserved, and I battled my own insecurities, wondering if I was just a distraction, a moment of weakness she would regret. We moved carefully, respecting boundaries, protecting each other from the storm we knew would come. The real challenge arrived when the company board questioned her leadership, subtly suggesting that personal decisions could cloud professional judgment. It was unfair and humiliating, and for the first time I saw Rachel doubt herself. She considered stepping back, even ending what we had barely begun, believing sacrifice was the price of responsibility. That night, sitting alone in my apartment, I realized that love without courage is just another form of loneliness. I showed up the next morning not as an employee but as a man willing to stand beside the woman who had taken a chance on joy. I reminded her, not with words but with presence, that strength does not mean standing alone. Slowly the storm passed. The board backed down, the office adjusted, and life, fragile and uncertain, continued forward. Months later, on a quiet evening overlooking the Willamette River, I finally gave her a ring, simple and honest, much like the love we had built. It wasn't about a joke anymore. It was about choosing each other every day, even when it was hard, even when fear whispered that happiness was temporary. If this story has touched your heart, if it reminded you that it is never too late to believe in love, please take a moment now to like the video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel so more stories like this can find their way into the world. And before this story ends, I have a special request. Please comment below with the word believe if you think second chances can change lives. Because sometimes, the bravest thing we can do is turn a joke into a promise and allow ourselves to be chosen when we least expect it.